Hey everybody, today I just want to make a video on how I prep the car between runs. I just want to show you what I do, and it might help a few of you guys out. Okay, the first thing I do when I get back to my pit bench, well, get the car, give it a good blow off, go to somewhere that's always got a compressor, or we've got a little blower vac. You can buy little blower vacs. Give the car a good blow off and make sure it's all clean. And then if you're going to reuse these tyres and you haven't got another set of tyres, check your ride height. So come back, check your ride height. Do any setup changes you've got to do first, because obviously it's going to change your car. But do any setup changes and then double check your ride height. So ride height's usually between 5 and 6 mil, somewhere in there. So do your ride height. Once your ride height's done, take your tyres off the car. So you take your tyres off. Once your tyres are off the car, I'd suggest gluing them, because usually if you have a roll, or even if you don't have a roll, you need to check your edges. Once you check your edges, they're good to go. Let them sit over there and glue. All right, once that's done, get your droop blocks out. I've actually got 2 little marks on my board, so it makes it easy, so it's not sitting where the screws are. But yeah, put it on your board. Make sure it's flat. Get your 2 mil. Loosen all your top deck screws. I'm not going to do it to my car, this thing's ready to go, but loosen all your top deck screws and your center post. Give him a bit of a twist. Make sure he sort of settles in. Make sure your blocks are perfect where they want to be. Right, tighten them up inside. I usually do the inside ones first, diagonally. So this one, and you can go here, here, and then do the center up. So, but when you're doing them up, don't reef on them. Don't be doing this. Just with your fingers, just like medium to loose. I've watched guys at the track, like the top blokes, and it's like they don't even do them up. They just touch them, But yeah, not too tight. So nip them all up diagonal. Once that's nipped up diagonal, you know your chassis flat and it's right. Once that's done, you know your chassis right. Grab your droop block, check your droop. So usually anywhere between 5.4 to 6.4 usually. So check your rear droop, turn the car around, check your front droop. Once your droop's right, then get your setup gauges, put on the car. So your chassis flat, put your setup station on the car. Right, once your setup station's on the car, then check your cambers. Usually 2 degrees is pretty much the norm these days. That's actually not reading 2 degrees, but yeah, about 2 degrees front and rear is sort of normally what I run. And the rear for mod, yeah, 3.5 degrees for me is what I sort of normally run. So yeah, check all your toes. Once it's done, turn it around. Do your rear, turn it around, do your front end. Now, if you've had a prang or something, I would suggest checking these guys. Check your steering rod lengths, because if you've had a prang, they might be different. So if they're different, your steering's going to be out. So get your verniers, check your steering length. Turn your radio on, give it all your steering a twist, make sure it's straight, or usually a mil toe out's pretty normal. Right, so once that's done, you've put him on the board, it's all square, your droop's right, you know your chassis right. Get rid of your board again. Another little good thing that we bought, our thing for our setup gauges, the little RC Maker 3D printed little thing here. They go in there. Yeah, that's a nice little thing, makes the bench looks nice and tidy. Right, once that's done, just get your setup wheels on the car. And in the meantime as well, usually you should be gooping tyres by now. Get them gooping, get them in the warmers, or, you know, it depends. It depends how much of a rush you're in. Like, yeah, if you're at a big meet, you've got plenty of time. You don't need to goop tyres that quick. But, yeah, just be aware that don't work on your car and forget about other stuff as well. Alright, so put your setup wheels, and then, right, the next thing, I should have did this at the start, but your setup board, you got to make sure this is level. If your setup board ain't level, your tweak can be out and it can throw measurements out. So make sure it's perfectly flat. These from Walker I bought, great little product. They're a little bit on the pricey side, I guess about 50 bucks for the 4 legs, something like that. But they're worth their weight in gold. You know, they level up your board, and that's what you need. If it's not level, you're screwed. So you need a good level board with the legs. Right, set him up, set up wheels on the car. I grab my driver. Now you can use the Ryan setup wheels. Addy swear buys his Ryan setup wheels, but I always just like to still just do it. Just give him the old lift and just check him. All the chassis have a hole underneath them. So you just put it in there. You lift the car up. And this is just lifting on this side a little bit. So this side's lifting a bit. So you've got to put more preload on this rear shock and a bit off that one. So that'll lift this, sort of push that up a bit and push this side down. So when you got the front towards, you're actually adjusting the rear of the car, and vice versa. So you turn it around. Once you do that, if it needs a bit more, if it lifts, this one lifts a little bit more, just go down a little bit more. But you don't want to go too much different on the collars, you know. I'd probably say, it's just my opinion, like half a turn on the collars is about maximum what you want to be different from side to side. But anyway, that's that. Once you've done that and it's lifting up even, turn it around. Do the same with this end. Lift it up, adjust whatever collars the preload you need, whatever you need. Once that's done, that's pretty much it. You just got to basically put the tyres back on the car. You can recheck your ride height, like you haven't, it's not going to be moving it that much, but yeah, put your wheels back on the car. Obviously, fronts, I never rotate the tyres this way, or always just side to side. Never put the fronts on the rear and the rears on the front. You never do that because the car will just be terrible. So I always rotate left to right just to try and get more even wear across the tyre. So put your tyres back on, and you can just double check your ride height. I won't bother putting the nuts on, but yeah, put your tyres back on, check your ride height, double check it, and then you're pretty much good to go. And that's pretty much how I do my, if you got time, the more you can do, the better. But, you know, sometimes at the club days, yeah, you're stressed out for time, so it's just a bit of a rush. Sometimes you don't have time to do it. You're just gooping tyres and doing other stuff. But anyway, that's my video today. Hope it helps a few of you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.